Yo, people, welcome back to another stream, and we're here for another Off to the Boundary show, episode 17. And we've got a lot to discuss today, but I'm not alone. I am joined by Mr. Ollie. Today's an England fan, yesterday was a Wales fan.
Yeah,
Um,
obviously, it's my debut on Off the Boundary. Just recently joined the group chat as well.
yeah,
So yeah, big up, obviously, another guest that I really like, Arsenal fan. But yeah, I am an England fan, obviously, cricket. But as you heard earlier, if you were watching the stream, I am a Wales fan in rugby. Me and Hannah had a great stream doing it. Obviously, Manny couldn't join, but it was a really good stream. We were commentating on the Fiji game. We went ahead, Fiji went ahead, then we went ahead again, and we won the game by a narrow margin. Obviously, if Fiji would have got another converted try, they would have won the game. But good start for campaign. Obviously, they got a losing bonus point, and we got a bonus point for 4 tries. We moved to Portugal now, and then we got Australia and Georgia. We should be beating Georgia and Portugal, but Australia is going to be tough. After a good win, though, I think we can beat Portugal and Georgia. And I think whoever wins Australia, Wales is going to top the group. So listen, we're definitely qualifying. We'll finish second or first. I'm probably second because of Australia. They'll win all their games. But for me, Wales, Australia is the game to watch. Whoever wins that game is top in the group. Whoever loses is finishing second or possibly not qualifying. But
uh,
that's
uh,
what I got to say. Big
all
up for
the
making my
rules,
debut.
all the rules. Remember, Australia still got to play Fiji.
Hmm.
And who knows? Who knows? But let's welcome Mr. Arsenal, Manny. Oh, there we go.
Hannah, good
Yeah,
evening. Yep. So you've got two Arsenal fans who are sort of with you, but forget about football. We're not going to talk about that.
yeah.
And as far as rugby is concerned, well, England had it all to do against Argentina with the sending off of Tom Curry, and I think you can agree that that was a dreadful decision. Whereas how Cardenas was able to stay on after his little hip jacking of I don't quite remember who that was. It might have been Mitchell, I think. That shouldn't have gone unpunished. It should have been converted into a red. But Argentina made too many mistakes. We altered our game plan well, knowing that it wasn't really worth trying to go for too many try scoring opportunities if the Argentina defense was going to be effectively one man stronger. So just fire it to North. He could just get a drop goal or get a few penalties, and all went well. We should qualify from our group, but going as far as going further than the quarterfinals, I'm not too confident. I think we're going to have to really, really, improve some aspects of our play. But tournament started, but we're here to talk about cricket and some exciting things going on.
And speaking of cricket, another Englishman. It's Mr. B. How are you? Okay.
Mr.
guys.
B, Mr. B, big up.
How you doing, guys? All right?
Hey.
All good, all good.
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, we're good. You're looking fine, Fettel. Ready to sting today, I would imagine.
Yeah, man. Definitely, yeah. got the old England cap on today. Look. Got that all on.
Nice.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Love England. Love cricket, you know. I've followed it from a really young age. Followed cricket.
Yeah,
We love
so
England, not the sport. The sport.
Yeah, but
now.
Mr. B, what's your county team though? Middlesex or Surrey or?
Yeah, Middlesex.
Mine's Somerset.
Ah, nice.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Somerset. I live in Somerset, so it's got to be Somerset.
Somerset a good team, isn't it? That was
Yeah,
Bartlett.
we won the T20, didn't we? We won the T20 Blast. We beat Essex with a catch from Tony Cadmore. I actually went to the quarterfinal against Nottinghamshire and they won narrowly.
Yeah.
I went to a few games as well.
right.
I went to see them against Kent, Hampshire, Sussex, and they all won those games. But yeah, we're not doing great in one days or the 50 ones, but we won the T20 Blast final, which was very good. Big memory for us. We've always been in the final. We've never won. So listen, we beat Essex. Good catch from Tommy Campbell. Obviously we needed one more wicket, and the batter hit it, and he catched it with one hand. It was absolutely brilliant. But yeah, Somerset are doing well at the moment. Obviously, we're not good at the county championship or the one day, but T20 we're on fire. And obviously, all our players have gone to the 100 now. Will Schmid, Tom Mabel, Cadmore, Craig Overton, they've all gone to 100. So we've got. Yeah, I've actually met all of those players I mentioned. I met all of them after the game against Kent, I think it was. or Hampshire, or maybe Sussex, I don't know. But yeah, every game I've seen Somerset this season, they haven't lost, and I've seen them win every game. They've been absolutely brilliant, Somerset, and it's a good team to watch. We've got a good team as well. I think we've got a few games left. I think our last game's towards the end of September, and then we'll probably have a break, and then next season we go again in the T20, and then yeah, just focus on other games.
Right. Oh, cool.
Yeah. But where should we start? Positive or negative? What should we do?
Positive.
Well, one is a negative for me. You guys probably like this. Let's start with the negative, because the rest are positive.
Who's the Proteas?
Proteas.
Proteas, South Africa.
Oh,
Africa.
South Africa. Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Bro, this isn't a football stream. Chill out, man. Oh.
No. United,
United are rubbish. They're 11th, and they're literally 11th
All
in
right,
the league.
look, guys, enough. Let's move on. Let's move
on. So Australia, of course, won the T20 series against us, and now they're currently winning the ODI series. We're playing our third ODI tomorrow against them. If they win that, then they won the series. So,
what happens if South Africa wins?
If South Africa win, the series is still up in the air, and will go down to the fourth or fifth.
And what's the score at the moment? Is it 2-1 to Australia or something?
2-0 to Australia.
2-0. All right.
So
if you win the next two, you draw.
Sorry.
No, there's five. There's five, so two have already.
Mr. B, didn't England win today? England win today, didn't they, Mr. B? Or was it yesterday against New Zealand?
Yesterday, yeah. They won
yesterday.
Yeah. 79 runs they won by.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday. Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah.
Guys, please. We need to speak a little bit about the game. Obviously, Hanno. Obviously, you chosen to start with a bit of a negative, a downer, as it were. So maybe you can just offer your opinions on what's transpired.
Look, I think again, it's just I'm going to say this. This is not even Australia's A team. This is like you've got David Warner playing 50 ODIs, 50 overs. Marcus Twine establishing Cameron Green, but Cameron Green playing at number 4. So batting at number 4. So it's not their best teams. They got Josh Inglis, Sean Abbott, Ashton Agar. So it's not the best of teams from Australia. And again, we don't look.
Oh, good.
So we don't look good at this moment. Like we're struggling in the middle part to put big scores again. Almost like I said in a T20 where one person just needs to get big runs. In the ODI, it needs to be 2 or 3 people.
Yes.
Our batters aren't getting it, and our bowlers. Well, I'm going to read you guys the stuff. Marco Jansen, 9 overs, 63 runs conceded. Rodaba, 9 overs, 79 runs conceded. Aidan Markram, not usually your spinner, but he bowled 10 overs and conceded 78 runs. So, Shamsi, our main spinner, 61 runs conceded. Well, he took 4 wickets, which is a positive. None of the economy rates are below 7, except Shamsi's one, but he got 4 wickets, so that's expected. That's in the second ODI. So our bowlers are really poor at this stage. Same with our batters; they just can't seem to get partnerships going, and it's a problem for us right now. Australia, they look good. but again, I'm not going to judge them when they play against us. Because at this stage, what with top 8, we barely qualified for this year's World Cup. So yeah, look, it's an interesting one. Of us, will we do any good in the World Cup? I don't expect it's us. But yeah, I don't know. You guys have any thoughts or questions?
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting to hear you talk about the second ODI, and you said it perfectly. Sometimes in an ODI game, you need two people to get really big scores, and that's exactly what Warner and Labuschagne did. And I think a really big positive for Australia is that with Warner coming back into some semblance of form at the best time for Australia's World Cup hopes, that gives them more than a few options and more security at the top of the order. And even when you take a look at their batting in the first innings, it was effectively Labuschagne again who really came to the party. Why he was batting so low, I don't quite remember. Maybe he had some sort of an injury issue or something, or was he sick? I'm not too sure. And Warner, of course,
He's been batting that low for I think for all the past matches. I think even for the T20s, he bats it that low. So maybe a tactical
yeah,
switch. Maybe they want the power hitters at the top, and if they go out, somebody to just steady the ship down the bottom of the order. I don't know.
yeah, yeah,
It's an
yeah. It
interesting
could
one,
be
I
the
think.
it could be the case really, because I mean, obviously you had Warner, you had Head, you had Mitch Marsh, Cameron Green. Warner didn't exactly do quite well being bowled second ball, so it was nice to see him recover with a century. At least he showed that he still has it and still can be an option at the top of the order. But obviously the power hitters, I think, as you mentioned, that none of them with even Travis Head, a 33, you'd expect more from him. And Captain Marsh, 17 or 15, could do a lot better. And Green, Inglis, and Carey and Warner just coming and going. Stoinis also, not really sticking around very much. It was effectively Labuschagne and Agar who, had that partnership at the end. Agar also, is actually a pretty fine lower order batsman who can definitely hit. And then that's going to be a big problem because when you have a situation where you bring Labuschagne down that low and expect you big hitters to pile on the runs, it doesn't really work that way because, you want to have a partnership between one big hitter and somebody like a Labuschagne who can, anchor the innings that well. And we saw in the second game that he allowed Warner to be his best self, but also wasn't afraid to hit out later on. The closer he got to his century, I think. So I think the second ODI has made it pretty clear that Labuschagne belongs in the middle order. Like, for example, we might possibly talk about the Asia Cup final today and Virat Kohli and Rahul Lokesh scoring centuries. Kohli might not be captaining India anymore, but when if you don't have him in the middle order, you pretty much take out a huge chunk of batting experience. He certainly won't compare to Rahul Dravid, in my opinion, who was absolutely wonderful with regard to his technique and his footwork, and also knew how to play some wonderful innings. Probably my favourite player in the Indian team. Of course, I'm always England over India, so but I support India against other teams. But what I'm saying is, you need to have a solid, correct middle order batsman who can anchor the innings and play that sort of, who can drop anchor and uses technique better to try and blunt the bowlers, while while his partner can sort of go hammer and tongs. But you can't have all your big hitters, all your sloggers coming up that early. So I'm glad Australia abandoned that strategy. And even if we take a look at the bowlers for South Africa, you said that they weren't exactly firing on all cylinders. I think they're going to look back on the first ODI and say, kick themselves for not being able to prize away Labuschagne and Agar, and the wickets were sort of more evenly shared, but nobody really impressing that much. And as far as Australia are concerned, their seamers have been did a much better job in the first game than probably the second game in a way. I mean, I can't say that because in the second game, obviously, they bowled South Africa out for 269. So Australia are gaining some momentum and they're looking okay. But even if you take a look at their bowling, they also had some pretty high economy rates, except for Nathan Ellis, who took 2 for 32. I think what seems to be apparent is that Australia have been able to use the conditions a lot better. Whereas with regard to the South Africans, I think a big problem with them is that, you know, I think I told you, Hannah, that if I had to choose between Shamsi and Maharaj as the spinner, I'd go for Maharaj every single time. And I'm a bit surprised that Shamsi. I was a bit surprised that Shamsi was able to impress with 4 wickets in the second innings, including getting Captain Mitchell Marsh out for a golden duck. I mean, certainly when he bowled at the top order, he was able to get some of them out. And I just think the bowlers as well, when it comes to the seamers, they seem to rely a lot more on express pace, but very rarely do they offer that much in terms of, variation and ability to play the conditions well. And that's sometimes how it's proved. And for the most part, South Africa's attack has really been built around maybe 1 or 2 bowlers who've been world class, while the rest of them have been, honest triers. I wouldn't say South Africa will need to worry too much, but they will need to be. They will need to look at the composition of their playing 11 for each and every game and see which bowlers would do the job in India when the games are being played. Because I would expect Shamsi to be hit out of the park, whereas at least if Maharaj can, keep a tight line, he'd be just okay. But some of the other bowlers are going to have to really work on their, their line and a little bit more variation. But I think South Africa should do okay. But I think I might share your pessimism in that they may not go too far. But Australia, if they can just keep their momentum going and not really exert themselves too much, I think they could do quite well.
Yeah, possibly. Again, I agree with you, and also on the conditions, I think it's definitely one day that, like, I think they have just even if that is at our in our place, I think they have a better understanding of what to do when. So yeah, yeah. But Ollie, Steve, you got any comments?
I've got comments, but obviously I didn't watch the match. But obviously, Proteas, I didn't know who they were before you told me. Obviously, South Africa, but is this women's cricket?
Men's,
right? Oh yeah. So South Africa aren't really good at cricket. They're obviously better at football. Oh, not football. They're not good at football. So they're good at rugby. Australia good at Australia, New Zealand, England are all good at cricket. So for me, I think it's probably deserved for Australia.
We are good. No, we were good.
We were good, yeah. But this, good win for Australia. A lot of work for South Africa to do. Try and win the next match, maybe. For Australia, they want to get the series done, so they probably want to win the next game. But it's a situation where if Australia win the next game, they win, and then if South Africa win, the pressure is on to tie the series, because if they're 2-0 down, and if there's 2 or 3 games left, if there's 2 left, they can draw. If there's 3 and they win all 3, then they've won. But listen, these series are quite annoying, to be honest. England obviously lost to was it Australia, and it could have been a draw. Well, I think it was a draw. Yeah, in the Ashes. But the thing is, if our game that rained off, which we would have won, would have happened, I think we would have either drawn or won. Because what happened? Did we lose?
No, in the Ashes.
Yeah, in the Ashes.
Yeah, well, that game was rained off.
If the rained off game counted and we won one of the games we lost, we would have won. But
we had the momentum there. We could have won that, I think, and would have won it 3-2. Yeah, the
thing is, cricket's very strict with the rain. The games get called off for Somerset, England, international games. It's not like football where it's raining and you just play on. In cricket, it matters. Like if it rains, the game gets called off. That doesn't happen in football or rugby. They just play on. But because cricket's such run around a lot, you have to catch the ball. You have to, stay focused, hit the ball. It's not as if in football, if tipping it down, you can still run about, you can still play. But in cricket, when it's raining, the game's going to get called off. Unless it's lightly rain, then it won't. But that's the problem with cricket. We could have won that game if it wasn't for the rain, and we could have tied the
No.
series.
Look,
But listen,
Oh,
Australia
Michigan,
could win
isn't
for
it?
Australia.
you play in the
Oh,
rain. I'm just saying. You
We should
knew
play in the
your-
rain. If football and rugby play in the rain, then cricket should be played in the rain. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But it's
No.
No.
Ollie, that sour grapes. There are reasons why
Yeah.
cricket can't be played in the rain, especially if you're trying to bowl with, the ball
slippery
and you're trying to maintain the shine. It could slip out of your hand and it can be dangerous. No, it's just not worth it. I think it's
So why do
correct
games
that
get
cricket
called off
doesn't
then,
play.
Manny? Why do they get called off?
Cause there's not enough time to
Mm.
fill in the
Oh,
amount of
right, okay.
overs.
Play the
That's
overs,
Exactly.
Otherwise, they would play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because England had done quite well in the past. They won the World Cup, didn't they?
Yeah, but Ollie, listen. So you've said what you wanted to say about Australia and South Africa, right? Mr. B, what about you?
Well, to be honest, Manny, I don't think Australia, they're not unbeatable, because I mean we would have beaten them in that Ashes. I mean, look at that, the momentum was with us. You know, we come back to 2-2. If we'd started better in that Ashes, you know, we would have done. I think we would have wiped the floor with them, Australia. I don't think they're the force they were.
Mate, that's Test cricket. This is one-day cricket, yeah. So it's a different kettle of fish altogether.
Oh yeah, I
And
know that,
yeah.
But I mean, you know,
Yeah, you're right though. I mean, they're not unbeatable per se, but at least now when it comes to the one-day scheme of things, they're looking okay, getting a little bit of momentum and getting.
Manny, it's
some
1 day,
consistency.
50 overs.
50 overs.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because in T20 it's 20, isn't it? And then it's 50 if it's 1 day.
Yep.
T20 is more exciting, I think. T20 gets hit everywhere, doesn't it?
I like T20. T20 is fun. I think it's fun. You know, 20 overs. The 100's fun as well. 100 balls in.
No, I despise the 100. The 100 are.
No, the 100's fun. Why do you not like the 100? It's like
nonsense.
all the teams from the counties playing each other, like Welsh
like
Fire,
100,
Southern
I like
Brave.
Nonsense.
Cool.
100
There's
is
even
nonsense.
like music acts in between the cricket and stuff.
Yeah.
The 100 is stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I think Steve has a point there. Australia aren't unbeatable, but at this moment
Right.
we aren't on that level to beat them. Now, should we continue with the Proteas theme?
So, Hanno, can I just say, mate? I think you know you were a fantastic team at one stage, South Africa. I don't know how you've dipped so far down from where you were, because you had you had all them great players, you know, Graham Smith and all that, and who else was it? You had who was that other guy, the wicket keeper?
Mark Boucher.
But more recent.
Oh, the cock.
Yeah, he's good, but there was one before him, the one that used to get loads of runs. He was a great
batsman.
De
Villiers.
AB de Villiers, yes.
Yeah, and you had all that, and I thought, well, you know, how come you're not producing the players that you used to have? I don't get that, because they're a fantastic team, and then he just suddenly, you know, dropped down.
That's a question I ask myself every time I watch them. Unfortunately, I don't have the answer. But I think politics definitely has played a role in it. Politics inside the board and how the staff work. I think that it's definitely had a big impact on everything. But should we continue with the Protea theme or go to England?
Yeah, I mean, you probably might want to talk about the Proteas women, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, they done well.
Protea women was beating Pakistan. Let me just get the scorecards and everything up.
They're better than the men at the moment. Better than the men,
yeah,
aren't
they? They are. It's almost like with the football, England football. The women are better than the men. So yeah, let me get that up. So of course, currently leading in the ODI series 2-0.
Very well.
We lost the T20 series. I was disappointed of us in the T20 series. The ODI series, I think, we should be able to do good. We have wrapped up the ODI series, of course, tomorrow. No, not tomorrow, Thursday. Is the final one, Fed and final ODI. Um, yeah, for me, again, I think the South African women team, they aren't perfect. That's one thing for sure. They've got holes, but as a team, I think they are functioning as a team better right now than we are. And again, I said when we talked about the men's that you need two or three players to get big scores. That's exactly what the South African woman done. Sunay Luz, she put up 107 not out. Marizanne Cup, 100. Um, Unfortunately, she was bowled out. Uh, and they look good. Putting up a massive total, 292. Um, so yeah. And bowling wise, for sort of out what, Ishmael.
She's
I
good.
think there were
Good player.
concerns about who who will step up, but at this moment, but it's really been expensive. I think all of them bowling unit has just come together and said, we're going to do this together. So yeah, um, I'm happy with their performances. Pakistan, unfortunately, because they're not the best opposition you want to compare yourself to. But you've got to beat what's in front of you. They're doing just that. Yeah. Steve.
Yeah, this is sorry, go ahead,
Uh,
Steve.
yeah. To be honest, I didn't see much of this, so I don't know what exactly happened. But I did hear, I saw bits and pieces of it, and I do like the South African women's team. They're a great team, aren't they? I mean, that Ishmael and Cap, they're both superb bowlers. And it can also, well, Cap can bat, can't she, as well? So she probably falls into the all-rounder category, really, Cap, doesn't she? But yeah, I think they're a lot better, obviously, than the men at the moment. I think the Pakistan women are a bit weak on the weak side. Slightly like the men's because they probably got better as well, got better bowlers than batsmen at the moment, haven't they? So yeah, but I think the South African women are pretty much on top at the moment. They're one of the best teams around, aren't they? So
Yeah.
probably along with the Australian women as well, because they're fantastic as well, aren't they? Awesome as well. So of
I
course the
think
England women got to throw them into it. The England women, they dip slightly,
yeah,
but come back
I was
well.
about to mention them, because and even at times the Indian woman, but I think at this stage, I think the top four is us, England, Australia, India. I wouldn't say the New Zealand women are on that level yet. But yeah, Manny, your thoughts?
Yeah, the nice thing about this team right now is that you pretty much got the core group of players who took South Africa to the final of the World Cup in your own backyard, and I am really happy that Sune Luz, after the whole kerfluffle with the captaincy, giving it up and all of that, has settled back into what she does best, and that innings of 107 has really done a lot to silence some critics of hers. And Maria Zankap, very much the elder stateswoman of the team, also contributing with the bat, which was a very big surprise. I never thought that she'd score that well, but she did. And it's good to know that even when you have a situation where Laura Vulvart and Tamsin Brits fail at the top of the order, you've now got some decent middle order batsmen who can bat a bit. Special mention to Nadine de Klerk, who hit a pretty decent 29
Oh, good
not
man.
out of 23, and has also probably been the Proteas' best bowler in both of these matches. And Wolvart also deserves some credit for being able to marshal the bowling resources quite well. And again, in the first match, we see de Klerk and Mlaba sharing 6 wickets apiece, with Kaka and Tucker getting 1 each. And it's still that same strong bowling core which you had. And obviously, once Chloe Tryon comes back into the team can only be a little bit stronger. And the most important thing about Lewis and Cap doing quite well is that, South Africa, as sad as it is for me to say, because I do think that she deserves to be remembered as one of South Africa's greatest of all time. South Africa, at least starting in theory, the process of being able to move on from Danny van Niekerk. Of course, it's difficult for Cappy because she and Van Niekerk are in fact married, and without Niekerk with her, it's effectively as if she's half a person. But Cap sees her role in the team as more of an elder stateswoman and is happy to continue playing it. And as long as Van Niekerk is able to find happiness again, good for her. I mean, South Africa's loss is pretty much the gain of, her franchise teams, whichever she represents. If only she can finally shake off those injury blues of hers. And this South Africa team is still quite strong. Whereas I think both you, Hanno, and Steve mentioned that this Pakistan team are a little bit maybe anatomically weak, you could say. And there weren't that much in terms of contributions from the Pakistani batswomen, and even the bowlers as well found it very, very difficult indeed, especially when it came to taking wickets. And I think de Klerk has been, I think de Klerk has been obviously the best bowler, 4 wickets in the second innings. Whereas with regard to Pakistan, it's very difficult to see who really had, a good game in that regard. But obviously, there's no real pressure to try and gain some momentum before a World Cup. But South Africa are looking quite good, and if they can just, once Tryon comes back, as I said, the team will be even stronger, and they just need to hopefully settle things down a little bit, and hopefully with Lewis now able to concentrate on her batting, there will be a new South African middle order. And the team will start to be a lot more consistent. There's certainly a great deal of unity and purpose in that team. I mean, they play together as a unit very well indeed, regardless of whoever captains the side. But Pakistan do have a few problems, and they're going to have to sort them out. Ironically, of course, they did win the T20 series, but when it comes to the slightly longer limited overs format, they might have some work to do.
Yeah.
Hanno, you there? Yeah, good.
Let's move on to England. Now,
I didn't get my thoughts on that. Game.
But Ollie's.
Go on.
Yeah, obviously good for South Africa to get a win against Pakistan. I don't really know much about Pakistan. I don't know if they're a good team or not, but good win, of course. I don't really watch much women's rugby cricket. I'm more of a men's team. I watch the England team. I watch Australia. I obviously watch the World Cup, and I watched the T20 one day. But yeah, good win for them. Obviously, Hanno, fellow South African, are good in the rugby as well. The win you got, obviously, it's all about cricket though. Obviously, good to get a win. Plus, obviously, after losing against Australia, so it's good, something to be positive about. But yeah, that's all I got to say. I don't really watch women's cricket, to be honest. I probably should be if we're talking about this a lot. But yeah, good win for South Africa, and they move on to the next match whenever it is.
Yeah. I think we were just a bit better. But we'll move on to England and New Zealand.
Yeah.
Now, of course, this is this being played in England or New Zealand?
Yeah.
Yeah, New
England,
Zealand.
England.
I mean, England.
Oh, it's
England. My bad.
England. Yeah, England.
Yeah.
So of course the T20 series was
Wasn't that a
the
draw, the
draw.
T20? Yeah, it was
Draw.
a
Yeah,
draw.
they
Two
drew
all.
2-2. Was it
T20s.
2-2? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we
Yeah,
won
2
2 and they won 2.
2-0 up, England. But
Yeah, they were 2-0 up, yeah. And then they lost 2.
Yeah, and then the ODIs.
How are we doing in this one? How are we doing in the ODI?
1-1 at the
Oh,
moment.
1-0. How many more
1-1
matches
in the
left?
moment.
How many more
Going
matches
to
left?
Wednesday.
Four matches, so 2 left.
2 left.
2 left.
Yeah.
2 matches
So if we
left.
win 2 in a row, we've won. And if we
If we lose one and win the other one, it's basically a draw.
Right.
So yeah. But I've put the England look good against New Zealand. Yeah. Look, they look good in my opinion. I think New Zealand, like I said last week, their team, it's not your usual New Zealand team. Yeah, at this moment I don't recognize that New Zealand team with their players. They've got a few unproven stars. And if you look at the scorecard of yesterday, um, then the scorecard looks very bad. So yeah, but England, it's they're preparing for World Cup. Interesting to see. I think it's David Willey,
Yeah, he's
and
up there.
Atkinson
Really.
and Topley
Mm.
as their bowlers.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe Manny and Steve. I don't know if that's the usual the usual ODI/T20 bowlers. But cause I don't really recognize them except David Willey, who doesn't know him. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, his dad,
but
Yeah.
his dad used to play David Will. His dad, didn't he? Used to be
Yeah,
a
Peter, who became an umpire, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, but for me, I think
Yeah.
England they're preparing for the World Cup and they're building up nicely for this one. New Zealand, they're just trying to put pieces together. I think at this stage.
Yeah, I'll
Manny?
probably speak a little bit about England right now because if you take a look at the second innings, it almost eerily resembles Australia in the second in the first ODI, I would say, because the top of the order was an absolute shambles with Bairstow and Brooke and Root and Stokes all getting out early. There's a part of me that thinks the decision to bring Ben Stokes back into the fold for this World Cup because of his inspirational ability. I just wonder if that in some way puts pressure on him, a bit too much pressure on him, because with his knee issues dominating, he now, with his knee issues dominating, he pretty much sees himself as a lot more of a batsman, I would imagine, at least. And I don't know if he'll be able to bowl as much. And if he can't bowl, then England will need to look at their pace bowling attack. Now, very interesting, this particular bowling lineup has 3 left-arm quicks in Willie, Topley, and don't forget Sam Curran, who is magnificent as a T20 bowler, but probably hasn't quite gotten to grips with playing with in the ODI format. And then there's this bloke, Gus Atkinson, who, he's no Gus Fraser. I don't know if he was before your time, Steve, but
I remember Gus Fraser. Yeah.
Quality bowler, exceptionally tall, but very not so much a type of bowler who would blast people out with the stinging Yorker leg deliveries or the swing. But he was, I think I don't know if you said it. He concentrated a lot on line and length and wanted batsmen to make a mistake. And it would be Goffey who'd wipe up the tail. Caddick would sort of swing it everywhere. But this guy, Atkinson, he does have quite a bit of potential. Let's not get that, twisted. But with regard to, I mean, he's certainly done well in the T20 format, but ODIs, of course, are a different kettle of fish altogether. And I just wonder if England have missed a bit of a trick by, without Jofra Archer in our team, we could have done with someone like a Chris Jordan, who, in fact, if memory serves me right, came over to Australia to play in the T20 semi-final and final as an injury replacement and didn't do too badly. And obviously, as Jordan is proving in the 100, in addition to being a fairly decent bowler with experience, he's also a more than useful lower-order batsman. I just worry that when it comes to these particular games, I don't know if England are quite getting the balance right. But what seems to be also apparent is that the top and middle order have not really stood up to be counted, and I'm very worried about Joe Root. Wonderful as a test batsman. Love seeing him play the reverse sweep every now and then, but somehow he hasn't really been able to click in these 2 one-dayers. One would hope that this is just a case of England trying a few things and maybe it will turn out right. Butler has done quite well, Moeen Ali, and I'll tell you what, if it weren't for Livingston and Curran, Dr. Livingston, one would presume, who helped, save our sick innings, we would have been staring down the barrel. But what an innings by Livingston, and Curran also, and Curran also doing really well. They'd be the equivalent of Labuschagne and Agar, if you will, with that rescue job, really. So, look, on paper, we do have a fairly strong team, but I just worry about the balance at times. And I just think that when it comes to our team selection, we're going to have to be a little bit prudent in terms of selecting the best 11, because I think when it comes to the selection of the squad for this World Cup, there were a few things we could have done a little bit differently. I mean, Steve, Ollie, Steve, maybe you agree or disagree with me on a few things there?
Pretty much. I mean, I think that, they initially left out Brook as well, didn't they? But they brought him back into the ODI World Cup team, and obviously been playing. And he hasn't exactly set the world alight lately, has he, with a bat? But I think as you say, as May just said, with that top 4 or 5, they look a bit out of form at the moment. Obviously, they don't look on it. Bairstow even don't look too great at the moment, and obviously Root. Stokes obviously needs to hit some form. I mean, that's the thing really, because he'd actually retired, hadn't he, Stokes, from the ODI? So I thought he just wants to come back because we're defending the trophy. So that's the reason he's come back. But is that a little bit selfish in a way? Should we get probably somebody else that's more in form, another all-rounder that's really sort of producing something? I don't know who else we've got in the county scene at the moment who's really going well as an all-rounder. But, no doubt Stokes is a fantastic player, awesome player, and he carries England sometimes on his own, as we see, from past innings, that magnificent innings against Australia. What was it? Was it Edgbaston or Lords, whatever, when he made that big...
I believe... If you're talking about the recent series, I believe it was at Lords when he had that big 100, and obviously, Headingley, he was at his he played excellently well again. But again, with regard to Stokes, I think he might be more useful as a batsman these days than a bowler. Ollie, So Ollie, you've had to listen to what I'm had to say. What do you think about England's chances?
Yeah, listen, I've been supporting England all my life. Born in England, obviously half Welsh. That's why I support Wales rugby. But born and raised in England, Exeter, moved to Burnham, lived there for 18 years now. I'm 19 now. But yeah, England doing well at the moment. Just won against New Zealand yesterday. T20 was all right. And obviously the Ashes was a bit disappointing. Obviously losing the first 2 games and then winning. Well, one got rained off, which should have been a win for us. And then obviously winning 1 or 2 games, I think. But I think we lost 3-2 in the end or something like that. Off top of it as well, but I've been to a few Somerset T20 games, which was 20 overs, but I've never been to any 50 over games. But listen, good win for England, looking good so far. Hopefully, obviously, I think it's 2-2, so or 1-1, whatever. Hoping to go on and win something at least. Obviously, I remember early memory for me is winning the World Cup. I remember where I was. I think I was watching it at home. I remember, and actually, I was actually in Wales listening to it on the radio. That's what I was doing. I was listening to it on the radio, and I was like, yeah. And
Yeah.
that was one of my favourite moments as an England fan. Winning the World Cup.
I was watching it.
What was it? Was it the
Really?
T20? Was it T20?
ODI. You talking about
ODI, yeah.
2019?
Yeah, 2019. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But listen, we've
Yeah,
got a
ODI.
chance now with New Zealand. And can we try and win the test? Hopefully, I think there's 2 or 3 matches left, maybe 4. We've got a load of other tournaments. I think we're playing India, South Africa. I think we've got a lot of games coming up, so it's going to be a tough schedule. Players that I like Ben Stokes. I like Joe Root. I like Johnny Bairstow. Obviously, some players that are in Somerset, I like Craig Overton. He's played for Somerset before. Will Schmid should be in the England team, I think. I think Tom Abels will be in the England team. I'm not sure. But Somerset do have a few English players. They do.
Cadmore.
Toby Cadmore, he should be in the England team. Obviously, that catch he did to win us the T20 final was amazing. He's also been doing well in the 100 as well. But Craig Overton.
Okay, Ollie. Let me just ask you a question though, because you seem to watch quite a bit of county cricket. And we were just talking about how with Stokes's knee problem, he might not be able to bowl very much. So that will probably put a little bit more pressure on the specialist bowlers we have. And of course, Sam Curran could be perhaps considered at least an all-rounder in theory, although he is probably more of a bowler who comes in, first change, and then he's somewhat a lower order batsman who can definitely give it a good whack. But do you see any decent all-rounders in the county game who should be given a chance later on once Ben Stokes retires?
Yeah, obviously Ben Stokes will retire soon. He's getting old. But for me, I think Will Schmid, he's a great player. He's a good batter. Not sure of this bowling. Craig Overton as well, brilliant bowler. He's not the best at batting, but he's a good bowler. We've got Tom Abel, our captain. He's good. Toby Cadmore, obviously, as I said, won the winning catch in the T20 final. Who else have we got? I think obviously we've got Tom Abel, Will Schmid. I think we've got Ben Green.
Not just for Somerset, but also any other all-rounders for other teams.
Who's Craig Overton's brother? What's his name? Jamie Overton.
James Overton, yes.
No, it's Jamie Overton, not James Overton. Jamie.
Yeah, Jamie, yeah.
I can't really think about anyone who plays for Sussex. I can't really think. I can only think of Somerset players, Manny. I can't think of anyone else. I can only think of Jamie Overton. That's it. But there is a lot of players for Somerset who could be in the England team. As I said, Will Schmid, who I actually met, he's a very nice guy.
Well, Sam Billings, he could come back, couldn't he?
Yeah, Lewis Gregory as well. Lewis Gregory for Somerset, he's a good player. Listen, Essex made the final, so they probably had a few players. Hampshire as well probably have a few players. They played well. Nottinghamshire, Lancashire. Well, actually, funny enough, the 100 was all southern teams. No north teams made it through to the finals. So, listen, I think a lot of the south teams have the best players because obviously they've all gone to the 100. The 100's finished now, but they all went to the 100. They play county cricket. Obviously, Somerset are the best team. Somerset are the only team to win 14 games in a T20 series, and they only lost 2, I think, out of 15 or 16. So we had a great record, and we won the finals as well. So listen, Manny, answering your question, I think a lot of Somerset players are good enough to be in the England team. I can't really name anyone else from any other counties at the moment. I can only mention Jamie Overton from Sussex, and that's it really. But Kent probably have a few players. Essex, obviously they made the final. Surrey are always good. Surrey probably have a few players as well. But for me, Somerset have quite a lot of all-rounders really, and any one of them could replace Ben Stokes.
Big call, big call.
But again, big Ben Stokes, of course, he's 32 now. And again, that question, same almost with Joe Root. If they continue to play more of these matches, ODIs, ODIs more, how long till they can't play anymore? And especially looking at that county scene of England, there isn't much talent coming through right now. We've got Harry Brooker, he's the first one in how many years that has really broke through by the county scene. So is there really, again, I asked it a few weeks ago when we did the Ashes, is there anyone to replace these guys that are on the scene right now?
I remember, And I remember telling you, I think, that one thing which Australia do quite successfully that England just don't seem to do is that they seem to be willing to go back to some of their more experienced players who are doing a lot better in the first-class scene. Of course, there are some exceptions, but yeah, I mean, Australia have a tendency to do that. England don't. And one example, which I think Steve might remember very well, is if memory serves me right, that was in the 2009 Home Ashes series where we needed to win at the Oval to win the series. And I do remember that was the season where certain Mark Ramprakash, who had, of course, played about 50 tests for us with let's just say a somewhat mixed record. Some fine innings, talent was always there, but never really was able to, build on that. And then someone like a Rob Key, of all people, was back in contention. And of course, Ramprakash had also been making hay for Surrey in the county championship that season. Everyone was predicting that he would come back. But instead, the selectors made a very big call to bring in Ian Jonathan Leonard Trott from Warwickshire, and he went on to score a century in that Oval Test, and we won the series. But the problem is, you can't just sometimes you can't take those big calls very frequently and expect them to come off, because for every Jonathan Trott, we do have someone like a Simon Kerrigan who was picked for one test, got the yips, and was never picked again. And so Australia often go back to experience, which explains why Mitchell Marsh is not only back in the team, he's also captaining them, for heaven's sake. So we might need to consider, going back to the future, as it were, to try to look for some players who have done a job in the past. And if they are performing well enough in the county championship or in the limited over series or the 100 or what have you, I say, try and give them a chance. Root and Stokes will retire from limited overs cricket after this World Cup. I believe, the T20 would have been their perfect swan song. And if they can do well in this World Cup and defend the trophy, then that would be the best way for them to announce their retirement. I just wonder if they announce their retirement at the same time, will that leave a very big hole? But you know what? That's a risk that's going to have to be taken. And I think with Bairstow and Butler in the team, in both limited overs teams, there will be enough experience anyway. But England are going to have to really look carefully at what options they have, because they can't keep persuading Root, Stokes, and others to keep staying in the squad, keep on playing. And obviously, the more games they play, the bigger the toll it will take. I think Root should retire from limited overs international cricket and concentrate on Test cricket. And if he does, then he could very well end up, overhauling Sachin Tendulkar as Test cricket's highest run scorer of all time, maybe possibly even score 20,000 Test runs, which would be a magnificent feather in his cap. But then that's a story for another day. I just think England are going to have to be very careful with regard to their selection and start to look, if not at youngsters, then maybe at some other players who have done a job before and maybe wouldn't mind being given a call back for one more time or more. Steve, what do you think?
Yeah, I probably agree there, mate. I mean, the thing is, I don't know what's happened to some of these. I mean, like of Howells, what's happened to him? He just seems to have been kicked into touch again. And he came back briefly, and I think he's great up there as a great opener, explosive, can get big runs. I don't know what's happened to him, because my dad actually, funnily enough, played against his dad, and he's even played against him, Alex Howells, as well. So, because my dad used to be a cricketer. So
I think Alex Hales is retired, mate.
Is he retired? Oh, right.
Yep. Yeah, he's retired.
Oh, I didn't know. Oh, right. But yeah, he was great, I thought. And then, but you got these also. We need a proper spinner as well, a really decent spinner, and we don't seem to be getting anyone that's good. I mean, Leach is not bad and he can bat, but is he really can he rip through a team with spin? Has he got enough about him to rip through, the whole team? I mean, you got the likes of that Rian Ahmed. I think he looks good, young man, isn't he? That young bowler. He played in I think it recently was a T20, I believe. He played in them matches.
Yeah, but we've got the bearded twins, Moeen Ali and Adil Rashid. Rashid in particular, I absolutely enjoy watching him
can't
bowl,
go
and he
on
was
forever,
terrific
can they?
for the
They
team.
can't play forever. So
no, they can't.
I like the look of this Rian Ahmed. I think he looks good, a decent spinner. He's only, what is he, 19, 20, something like that. He's very young, so he's got a strong future there. I think Matthew Potts, that's another good one that's quite good. Fairly quick, isn't he? So I think he's a good bowler. All the ones they've tried loads now, haven't they? He's a quick bowler. Ollie Stone, that's another one. Tried him.
Oh yeah.
And obviously what's it? I was surprised Dan Lawrence ain't got in it recently. He was in that Ashes squad, and I'm surprised he didn't play any part of that. Because he's been great in the 100 and whatever, hasn't he? He's been awesome in that. So, how come he hasn't got a chance? Come back for England. I don't get that. But as you say, there's plenty there. We can go for it. Luke Wood, that's another good one. He looks quick, looks promising, doesn't he? So there's quite a few there. But how are they going to get them? How are they going to fit them all into the team? That's the thing. And who are they going to push out to make room for them? Out of all these big players, who they going to leave out is the problem, isn't it? So
it's a conundrum. That's the worst part.
Yeah. But I think we spoke. Predictions for tomorrow or Wednesday.
Wednesday.
I'm
It's the
back
women's
in
tomorrow, isn't it? Women's is tomorrow. Sri Lanka. I hope they beat. I hope they win. If we predict that one tomorrow, I hope they beat Sri Lanka again. I think they might. I think England are coming back, and I like the look of that young girl, 17, 18, whatever, Gua. Is that her name, Gua? For England.
Micah Gar, yeah. She was born in England, but actually had played international cricket for the UAE before coming back to England and being called up. And yeah, I think she could definitely be. She's certainly a big find, and I think she could really do a good job for England in the future. And even without Sophie Eccleston, the women actually did a really good job against Sri Lanka. We've got a great team as well, great women's team. In fact, I think as Anno said, we're probably among the top 4 in the world. I think Sri Lanka are just too dependent on their captain Chamari Athapattu, and I can't really think of any other player who really would stand out among those Sri Lankans, which is why it's all the more disappointing that we lost the first ODI. But tomorrow's another day. Tomorrow's another game. We move on from there, eh?
Yeah. And for when you play New Zealand again, I think Wednesday.
We should be able to win, I think. And
Wednesday, 13th, 12:30.
Yeah, and of course there is some news that both Williamson and Bolt have been named in the squad, which means that Finn Allen, the opening batsman, has been pushed out. Yeah. So New Zealand have got some problems of their own. Obviously, they consider Williamson to be such an inspirational and important player that his presence in the team is, vital. But having said that, the bloke hasn't lifted a bat or even run around for quite some time. So how he's going to be able to be match fit to play will be a huge conundrum. And obviously, Devon Conway and Daryl Mitchell have rediscovered some form. Yeah. But, again, if we get them out, we should be able to have the measure of them. And of course, I just think tomorrow, hopefully, our batsmen, especially in the middle order, who are due a big score, they should be able to come good. But cricket's always a funny old game, eh?
Yeah, what do you mean Wednesday, man? Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah, Wednesday, the men.
Yeah.
But as always, I'm going against England. Up the Black Caps. Come on.
Yeah, I think they'll win. It won't be a reduced game because the other day was raining, wasn't it? So had the rain and everything, Southampton. So hopefully it'll be a longer overs this time. More overs, like 50 overs again. So because I hate that when it rains, it always spoils it, and you get the
I hate the rain. Yeah.
Fleury Stern, isn't it? You get all that stuff now. So hate all that. It sort of favours one team over the other, doesn't it? When it does Duckworth Lewis Stern. So it just used to be Duckworth Lewis, didn't it? I don't know why it's Stern now. I don't know why they've added that. Sorry, Hanno,
maybe Stern has just come in to sort of add a bit of a tweak, and they have to add his name. But Hannah, go ahead, mate.
Ollie, your prediction for Wednesday?
I think England will win. I'm confident in my country. Obviously, if New Zealand were to win, we'd have to win to tie the series, and if we were to win, New Zealand would have to win to tie the series. So, for me, I think we need to win these two remaining games to make it 3-1. Losing would put pressure on us to obviously lose or draw, and winning will put New Zealand pressure for them to lose or draw. So, for me, we have to win this game on Wednesday. 12:30 kickoff UK time, probably like 4:30 Manny time, and like 1:30 Hannah's time or something. But yeah, listen, this is a must-win. I say that in a lot of games. Obviously, Arsenal, Wales. I say a must-win. This is a must-win. As I said, if we win this game, we go 2-1 up in the ODI, and if we win the next game, we've sealed it. Obviously, if we do win, we can't lose because we draw. So I don't want to draw. I don't want to lose. I want to win. So we need to win on Wednesday and then possibly win the next game. Because if we lose this game, as I said, it puts pressure on us to either lose or draw. So for us, obviously, we've done well. We won this game. Obviously, lost the first game, but after this, I'm confident after this result. Beating New Zealand after losing against them. Also, plus we're playing in our home country, so New Zealand have a disadvantage there. They don't have the home support. Obviously, there are probably fans that live in the UK or have travelled to the UK to watch the match. But for me, I think we should be winning this game, and I hope the boys do agree with me. We need to win to hopefully try and see off the ODI, and then obviously we've got a lot of games coming up. We're playing Ireland, Sri Lanka. I think we're playing Australia again, Bangladesh. We've got a lot of games coming up, and I think the last game is in 28th of May next year. So we've got a lot of games coming up. So it's very exciting with all the cricket happening. Obviously, county cricket is coming to an end at the end of the month, so everyone will be focused on. Well, the 100 is finished as well, so everyone will be focused on England at the moment or their home nation. But just a quick prediction: I think England will win against New Zealand on Wednesday.
And the only thing with us, right, with England is we're not always ruthless enough.
Yeah.
And really going for the kill. So I hope they do this time. I really hope they really.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Let them come back again,
Yeah.
But to move quickly onto the Asia Cup, and of course, Pakistan lost to India today. Poor batting from Pakistan.
Poor bowling as well, as far as I'm concerned.
How the Asia Cup's formats work. So I don't
see much
yeah.
of this.
Yeah, this format really was a little bit. It reminded me very much of the '99 ODI World Cup, where you had two league tables and then another secondary league table known as the Super Six. Here, this was more of the. I mean, it wasn't even really a Super Four or anything. It was just basically semi-finals, and it was as expected. Pakistan and India got through, but I don't know what Babar Azam was thinking when he won the toss and decided to field. If he had known that his bowlers would literally put up such absolute rubbish, I think he would have changed his decision. And in stark contrast, I think if you take a look at. I mean, there's nothing much to say about India's batting. I mean, the openers came in, got a start, a nice little 112, a partnership of 121, and then, of course, even after Rohit Shubman Gill came off, got out, it was effectively the Kohli and Rahul show, twin centuries from them, and that's another example of how two big scores can really help you. But the two half centuries also weren't small potatoes, and no bowler really distinguished himself. 2 wickets says it all, and both of those wicket keepers were just outright expensive. And when it came to the Pakistan's batting, they were always going to be at sea. One of the things which angers me personally when it comes to the selection of India's World Cup squad is the fact that they've gone for 2 left-arm spinners and a leg spinner in Kuldeep Yadav, who I think is more of a left-arm Chinaman. But there's no off-spinner, so there's no room for Ashwin Ravichandran, and that's rather, ridiculous in my opinion, because a quality off-spinner like him would lend that variety, but Kuldeep was able to spin a web around the batsman, took 5 wickets for 25 off 8 overs at a shade over 3, and the other bowlers, just played around him, wicket apiece for Bumrah, Pandya and Thakur, and they didn't even need to exert themselves very much, because some of the batsmen, I think, they just came in and got out almost as quickly as they came in. 27 being the highest score sort of says it all. It was just a dreadful day at the office for Pakistan, really, and they're going to have to sort of get their act together to try and, see if they can come up with a good combination as well to play. And Wales have just taken the lead against Latvia. Aaron Ramsey
dare
with
you, Manny? I'm
a
behind.
penalty.
Manny, I'm behind.
Well, I do
remember-
apologise, but India do look good with regard to the batting, and I think the bowling, India's bowling does seem to be doing well enough. But I mean, I think the fast bowlers will need to really, up their game a little bit, and the spinners are going to be under pressure to, justify their selection. Although, the 2 left-arm spinners in Akshar Patel and Ravi Jadeja will be a handful. And Yadav has also proved that he can, do more than keep an end up. But then this Pakistan team were absolutely awful today.
Yes,
So
come on, yes.
Talk about a delayed
on. reaction
there.
Yes.
Talk about.
Come on, Ramsey.
Talk
get
about
it.
it. Talk about a delayed reaction.
Come
Of
on,
course,
Wales.
of course.
Yeah.
But yeah. But India do look okay, but they really haven't been. And I wouldn't say they've necessarily been tested in this tournament. I think the group stage match, which they played against Pakistan, was a bit of an eye opener, where the bowlers literally had them on the rack before rain intervened. But this time around, I think Babar choked on the toss by opting to field first when he should have batted instead, and the bowlers just served up a load of rubbish. Either that, or it was also a case of the batsmen being motivated to do as well as they did on no bigger stage, and that's sort of how it's proved. But India will face bigger tests, and Pakistan still have some time to regroup themselves. But the men in green better get a move on.
Yeah. So, but the table as it stands, of course, who goes to the final? I believe it's the top 2 of the Super 4.
Wales.
So, at the moment, India are leading. But they have only played 1 match. So, India Sri Lanka tomorrow. What do you guys reckon? India should win, probably. India.
Yeah, I think they're the better team, India, I would say.
Yeah. Who are they playing? India versus
Sri Lanka.
India. India should win that money.
Yeah, they should. They should. But
wink, wink.
yeah, they will. I think the Sri Lankan team look to be
not the full same
yeah. I mean, I remember when the Sri Lankan team in the mid '90s and then going on were an outstanding team and had fine players, but those days are long gone. There's no Angelo Matthews in that team.
No.
I think they could do with his services, but
no Malinga anymore.
Yeah.
And
I
Pakistan, Sri
never liked
Lanka.
Malinga, to be honest.
You give
Pakistan,
it all,
Sri
you know.
Lanka.
Strange action, but he got wickets and everything, didn't he? So
Yeah, he did.
I'm going to go with Sri Lanka to beat Pakistan. I'm going for shot there.
all right.
No, I think Pakistan have the better all-round team, and I think they'll get their act together. I think the coach and the captain will have given them an absolute rollicking after this performance and told them, you know, you're like cornered tigers again. Fight like cornered tigers, and they're going to need a win because their run rate is abysmal, as you can see.
And then India, Bangladesh.
Oh,
India.
India, in that.
India.
Mm.
Yep, can't look
So-
beyond India.
Yeah.
Manny,
India
so
will
you said if
qualify.
England played India, you'd support England.
Yep, born and brought up in England, always them first.
How long did you live in England for?
12 years.
Right, so that's where you got the accent.
I've told you this time and time again, and you still forgotten. You ought to be ashamed of yourself, Mr. Sinclair.
But yeah. So if I work it out, it should be India Pakistan final. Probably, most likely.
Yeah, probably. Come on, India. Come on.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
Pakistan.
if Pakistan beat Sri Lanka, then that should be the case. But
Are India in the final?
No, if
Oh,
the
is it the
results go their
quarterfinals?
way. If they won, basically.
Oh, so it's the semi-finals.
I don't know, what do you call it? Like
yeah,
quarterfinals?
it's a Super Four. It should be more like a semi-final stage, but it's really only another, table really, and
Oh, right. Okay.
it doesn't make sense to me. But it is what it is. I think they wanted to see a little bit more, have some more games being played. So listen, if Pakistan don't beat Sri Lanka, then their tournament is over, and even then, they're still going to have to depend on, Sri Lanka. They're still going to have to depend on Bangladesh doing Sri Lanka.
Come on.
India, I mean, no, Sri Lanka played Bangladesh already, but they're going to have to depend on
Yeah.
India doing Pakistan a huge favor, and that's not always going to be guaranteed.
Oh. Go on. Oh.
Yeah.
Shoot!
Another one.
Oh!
But I think that's that. Anything else you guys want to discuss?
England are going to win
Oh,
the ODI.
I watch that football now.
Yeah, let's
Sounds
watch
good
Wales.
game.
Manny, are you watching the Wales game?
Yeah, I am. I mean, how do you think I told you who scored? But
I didn't even see the penalty. Like, Wales have scored a penalty. And I'm like 10, 20, half an hour behind us, 10, 30 seconds behind.
Was it Ramsey who scored? Ramsey, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Yeah.
Ramsey, yeah. He was on the bench last game when they drew 0-0 to South Korea, but he came on. He's playing now. I think he's the captain as well. He's the captain for Wales.
Yeah.
Wales had 9 attempts on target. Latvia have had 0.
You got a lot of youngsters there now, haven't you, Wales? You got a lot of young
Yeah,
players.
Brennan Johnson, Aaron Ramsey,
Yeah.
Danny Wards, Ben Davis.
But let's.
Yeah,
I'm not
a big. Yeah. Time to wrap it up.
All
right. Yep, time out.
Steve, where can people find you?
Oh yeah, I'm still doing my channel. Obviously, Mr. B, Hive Football Chat. I'm still doing that at the moment. It's going pretty well. Need more subs. I'm only on about 40 odd at the moment, so looking for some more. Hoping to do the watch along tomorrow night. Still going ahead. I don't know if Manny still wants to join, if he wants to do that with me, but I'm still looking to do that. I'm obviously sorting some stuff out with it, the channel, trying to make it look really great for tomorrow night. My first watch along I'm doing. I ain't done one yet, so looking forward to it in a way, but obviously a little bit nervous with it. But trying to move on and get better with my channel and everything. It's at my channel is at Mr. B B for Life 182. So if you want to come, anyone wants to join or go on that, it's great. And I need more subs and likes, so please feel free to join. Whoever wants to do that, thank you.
So yeah, now prep yourself, Steve. No, I do not want to do that today. yeah, people do go subscribe to the channel, Mr. B, of football. So yeah, go. Let's get him to 50 by the end of
Thank you.
tonight.
Right.
But yeah, Mr. Ollie, where I can't find it.
Yeah, obviously, big up Hannah for having me on. I'll do a Manny style. You can catch me on a few other channels. RS Talks Football on here. Coach's Corner. Big up for having me on. I've been on Villa TV before. Delberg on a TV. Stephen Featley. Can't really name any other channels as of yet. I'll send you a post in the check. Anyway, you can find me on my channel, DJ Sinclairo, on the road to 1,100. Currently on 1,076 subscribers. Make sure you watch my videos for public watch hours. So just watch the stream. You can mute it. You can just watch it. Just don't skip it and watch some of my shorter videos. Or when I see performances live, I've been to Highest Point Festival, Big Church. I've been to a few gigs as well. So make sure you check those out. Apart from that, go like my videos. And if you want to find me on Instagram, Ollie.Sinclair556, that's my full name and my first name, my second name, and 556 is a random number I had at the end of my Xbox name. I've had a few accounts, but this is my main account now. Just hit 850, so on the road to 900, then 1K. Other Instagram account is a fan page, our Instagram self fan page 1. Please go follow me there at 800, so on the road to 1K as well. Mixcloud, Sinclair556, been constant with the mixes. A mix will be out tomorrow, and then Wednesday and Friday. I've done a weekend mix, so there won't be one out this weekend, but because I'm seeing my gran, and then I've got the traineeship on Monday. Anyway, SoundCloud, DJ Sinclairo, do sped up songs. TikTok, Ollie is up at 556. I've done a few TikToks recently. And Twitter, DJ Sinclair, all lowercase. Finally, if you want my PlayStation, Xbox, or Snapchat, please do personally DM me for that on my main account, Ollie.Sinclair556. That's OLLIE.SINCLAIRO556. Obviously, my name's Ollie Sinclair, so I'm half Welsh. That's the reason I support Wales rugby. And England football is obviously my team, and I support England cricket as well. So mainly England, but I do support Wales because my mum's fully Welsh and her side is, and obviously that's their national sport. So they're, really like get into rugby. So that's why I support Wales rugby, and obviously big Arsenal fan as well, Bath rugby fan as well, Somerset cricket fan. So I support a wide variety of sports. I do love sports: cricket, tennis, football, table tennis, rugby, sport you name it. I probably love it, but yeah, that's it. Big up Manny, big up Mr. B, and big up Hanno. And big up Hanno for having me on, by the way, the Fiji Wales watch along. That was really good. Obviously, Manny wasn't there, but it was still good to have me and Hanno on. Great game. Obviously, we were winning. Fiji went ahead, and then we won. But really good win for Wales. And we move over to Portugal now, which is our next game. And France are playing next, I think, on the 14th, so Thursday. So yeah, enjoy the football, guys. The Euro qualifiers. Obviously, England playing Scotland tomorrow, which I want to see Aaron Ramsdale starting. Otherwise, Southgate out. Wales are playing as well, so it'd be interesting to see if they can win. I don't think they're going to get through to the Euros. Albania doing well as well, rest teams, so hopefully they qualify. But yeah, that's it for me. Hopefully England win tomorrow. Hopefully you enjoy the cricket, the football, the rugby, whatever you're watching, and enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your weekend if I don't see you as well. Big up Hanno for having me on. Big up Manny, of course, Arsenal fan. Mr. B, Brentford fan. And of course, Hanno's Chelsea fan. But that's it. I've shown my shows for a while. Big up Hanno for having me on. Big up the panel. And subscribe to DJ Sinclairo and Ollie. Follow me, Ollie.Sinclair556. But big up Hanno for having me on.
Annie, yours?
Oh, yeah. I was wondering what happened to you. Yeah, first of all, big up to you, Hannah. Thanks for hosting the stream. Big up to Mr. B and Ollie for coming on and, contributing to the discussions. And, yeah, you can find me on RS Talks Football. I mean, mainly here on the Coach's Corner, but also OTF and Del Boy Gunner TV and several other channels. And it's check in the post, not post in the check. You check deliberately mixed up. Yeah. Yeah. So that consider that a fair. Yeah, you might next time you'll have to listen before you try doing that. But
sorry, sorry.
Like I said, I always try to keep things a bit respectful when it comes to being on these streams. Let's have some proper discussions and be respectful about it. Otherwise, there's no point in really doing very much. There's no point in really having a discussion if we can't agree to disagree without being disagreeable. So thanks a lot to everyone who was in the chat and who watched this video, and big up the Chelsea fan especially for his comments. You and others are the ones who make this stream what this is and make Hannah's channel what it is. And yeah, just enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy the sports on offer, be it the football or the cricket or the rugby or anything else. Tennis is over, but yeah, we
Did
still got
Djokovic
some
win
more
the
coming
tennis
up.
tour?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And until then, there's nothing much else to say. Don't do anything we wouldn't do. For now, though, goodbye to all of you, and farewell to thee.
Yeah. Be up yourself, money. Yeah, my
Yeah,
socials.
Sorry, Hanno, by the way, mate.
Ooh.
Sorry, can I just mention that watch along I'm doing in Scotland and England tomorrow
Yeah, you
night?
mentioned that. You
The
mentioned that.
friendly.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was just making sure, because I didn't actually say what it was, did I? I just said a watch along.
Mr.
No.
B, can I join? Can I join, Mr. B?
Yeah, of course, you're welcome,
Yeah.
mate. Of course you are. And Manny and Hanno, obviously, they were all welcome on. So everyone's welcome, you know.
What time is it, Mr. B?
I think it's 7:30.
Right, okay.
Quarter to 8.
Yeah, guys. We'll talk about this once
Sorry,
the stream
move
is
on
over.
now.
But yeah, but
Sorry,
Hanno.
it's time to wrap up
mate.
now.
Sorry.
That's fine. So yeah, there's his channel link. I should wrap to it. So yeah, of course, my socials on Instagram _coach_corner, Twitter _7083030, and then TikTok Coach Corner 1. Yeah, I've been posting a few TikToks in past few days, so do make sure to check them out and drop me a follow there if you haven't already. So yeah, be happy to all of you for joining. We'll see you all in bed. Peace out.